Okay, guys. I never know if these videos are going to work until after it's done. So, let's see. It is 10:13. Just spent an hour and 15 minutes just to get to this point so that I can make a video. Before I say anything else, I really would like to ask everybody out here, and I mean everybody out here, to, from your heart, pray for Nithya and Andagoons. And I mean this with all sincerity. Pray for these people because this demon guru has got a hold of these people like I've never seen before in my life. That they're willing to throw their life away for criminal activity. It's nothing productive. And it boggles my mind. It truly boggles my mind. So pray for these people. That's all I can say. It's really all I can say because I truly don't understand this. So here's what I want to talk to you about today. It's to help you fully understand why there is no such thing as reincarnation or past lives. Okay? Well, if there's no such thing as reincarnation, there can't be anything as a past life. I'm gonna help you to understand, hopefully completely, why this is truth, and also help you to understand what exactly a memory is, and how all of this works together in the function of the body. Okay? So before I get started on that, I want to, this is for everybody out here who's trying to wake up. I want you to, if you haven't noticed it from the video I made last night about the New Age rebellion, if you'll notice, every time I said Christian, I did the air quotes. When I said demonization, I did the air quotes. I want you to understand, every time I did that, I'm showing you that this is a concept. This is a concept. People are identifying with titles and labels. It's not who they are. They are spirit. They are not this form. And anytime you identify with a label or a title, this is what is referred to as name and fame, such as pastor, guru, teacher, man, woman, professor, wife, husband, father, mother, daughter, brother, son. They're all titles, and they were all given to us by people in the sleep, which are people of the world under Satan's rule. This is what I'm going to keep referring you to because your eyes have to open to what's happening here. So anytime you see me do this, it's because it's not real. It's a concept. So anyone who believes that they are their religion, remember what I told you, religion is in Maya. Religion was created by man, for man, to keep man in the sleep. And it is all run by Satan. You want to know why you hear Bob Larson talk about that Jezebel is in the church. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Satan runs the church. Satan runs the church. It is made by man, for man. And who is man? Man. Man is a concept that everyone has bought into. And this is part of Satan's game. Help us believe that we are this form, that we are this psychological mind and these emotions. So when he attacks us, we believe that this is us. And we go through severe mental health issues. Our lives get destroyed. This is exactly Satan's game. So in order to fully wake up, you have to first understand what these concepts are and how deep they go. And how all of these concepts create the personhood. And every time I say the personhood, it means this person, this individual, personal being that you believe you are, which consists of only the psychological mind, the emotions, and this form, which is exactly where Satan attacks. This part of who we think we are was created by Satan to make us believe that we were separate from God. This is the whole game. This is why it is called being in the sleep. Because we are not separate from God. We are not separate from God. Understand, go back to the story of the Garden of Eden. That Adam and Eve knew that they were naked the whole time. But it was at that moment when God called for them after they disobeyed him that they went to look for clothing because they realized their nakedness. It was at that moment that they realized that they were separate from God now. And this is all Satan's doing. So it is in the personhood that we believe that we are separate from God. Okay? So if you go and listen to that video again, every time you see me do this, that is a concept. If you believe that you are that form, if you believe you are that psychological mind, you believe you are your emotions, you believe you are your religion, you believe you are your title of pastor, guru, teacher, husband, wife, sister, brother. If you believe that this is what you are, these are concepts. These are what creates the personhood, that we buy into all of this. This is how we believe that we are our diagnosis. When a doctor tells us we have PTSD, we believe we are PTSD. We believe we're crazy. And so no matter what pills they want to throw at us, we're going to take them because we're crazy. Because we believe we are our diagnosis, and we are not our diagnosis. These are these demons. And I guarantee you, once these demons are cast out of you, you will not suffer with this stuff anymore. You will not suffer with this stuff anymore. This is not conjecture on my part. As I told you, I'm up to 16 demons. Now, I went through the whole coughing and throwing up stuff 16 times. What I'm starting to understand is it could be quite possibly that some of these demons didn't fully get out of me. So it may not be 16 demons. It may be that when I kept going back now, some of these demons have fully gotten out. You see, it could be that. I don't know. But what I can tell you is there's no more fear in me. There's no more anger in me. There's no more anxiety. There's nothing here. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to my natural self. And when you are truly in the oneness space without any demons being involved attacking this form, the oneness state, you will hear the fake gurus out here who have never reached that oneness state yet. They will talk about being in a bliss state. And people believe that because they're suffering in so much pain, they're looking for God. They want this pain out of them. So, of course, they're looking for the bliss. As I told you, we are chasing this pain-pleasure cycle our entire life. This is what gets us in trouble. Okay? So people hear about this bliss state, and they're in so much emotional pain and psychological pain. That's all they can think about. I want this bliss state. I want this bliss state. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So that's all they're thinking about is I want this bliss state. I want this bliss state. And this is how we get hooked in with these fake gurus out here, in these cults, into New Age. We're searching desperately for what we believe is God. We're searching desperately for some way, any way, to get rid of this pain. That's really all this is. And the other clarification I make before I really get into the teaching is, I said yesterday that the Holy Spirit had told me that I should come out here and disclose what was going on with the occult and what was going on in the mystics community. Here's the difference between what I was instructed to do and what these other people out here are doing. It's because this was literally my own experience. I was only instructed to tell my story of what had happened to me through the occult. You see, it wasn't about bashing any particular movement or group or religion, only about what happened to me. And people will make their own decisions that way. This is what I was instructed to do. That's not what is being done here, because these people are trying to play God, and you can see what happens. This is all ego and personhood, so you can see what happens. It's destructive to everybody out here, and you can see in your own life. Take a look at your own life. Anytime you make an identification of something that's not going right out there, you are to automatically bring it back to yourself and look inside and see how these very things have affected your own life. Because there's nothing that we see out there that is not going on in here. This is why it's being brought to our attention. Okay? And you really have to understand this. Everything is the mirror effect. And if you see something in someone that you don't like, understand you're being shown something about yourself that you need to correct. This is exactly what's happening. Okay? It is the mirror effect. So anything that you see, because what happens, what we carry inside of us, we project to the outer world. Okay? So this is why if something is standing out to us that we don't like and it's rubbing us wrong, well, understand that very issue in some way, shape, or form is going on inside of us. So you're experiencing that same thing. It may have been you experienced that with a family member, or you may have done something like that to somebody else. And one way or another, you've got to search inside to see, why is this bothering me? It's something that I need to take care of. So what is it? And until you get these demons taken out of you, this is the work that you have to do to help you peel away the personhood. This personal being that you believe you are, that is the pure sleep, because you are spirit. You are not this form. You are not this psychological mind. And you are not these emotions. You are witnessing these things, and I am going to show you that you are witnessing these things. This is not just talk that I'm saying here, okay? I'm literally going to show you how you're witnessing these things. But for right now, I want to discuss past lives, reincarnation, and what is a memory. So I'll start with the memory. We have to understand what a memory is, okay? There are three things that make up a memory. There is instances that have happened in your past, unresolved trauma that keep playing in the mind. Until these traumas are resolved or these demons are cast out of this form, these thoughts are going to keep playing. That is a memory. It's unresolved trauma. And you're going to have to try to keep all of this together without getting it confused. Because understand, one of the portals that we open for demons to enter is trauma. So unresolved trauma is what is considered a memory, that these thoughts, the situation. Remember I said in the beginning when I started on this path, I had visual flashbacks so bad they were debilitating. Well, these were these demons. They kept playing me these pictures. They wanted to torment me. They kept playing me these pictures. Okay? So that is considered a memory. It's past trauma that has never been healed. Another concept of a memory, and it is a concept, is daydreaming. What we are hoping for the future. And the future hasn't arrived yet, and the past is over, and you will come to find out that the past was never really you. It was a dream, and this is the miracle of all of this. This is the miracle of all of this. But for right now, just understand the two main ways that we collect memories are past trauma that has been unresolved and hoping for future, daydreaming about what we would like to happen in the future. That it most likely will never occur the way we're daydreaming of it, But this is what we'll waste our time dreaming about. And in the meantime, our life is right now in this moment. And we're not living. We're either living in the past or we're living in the future. And we're missing right now. And this is where the depression, the anxiety comes from. Depression is longing for change, for what's happened in the past. Anxiety is worrying about what's going to happen in the future that hasn't even happened. And it's probably not going to happen the way we think it's going to happen. This is why we are not our emotions, because the future is non-existent. We're creating it, we're imagining it, and worrying about things that haven't happened. And they're probably not going to happen the way we think they're going to happen. And trying to change the past. And this is what causes depression. I wish I could just snap my fingers and wake you guys up, man. There's a lot of work here, but this is the beginning of it. Keep the serenity prayer close by you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The past, I can't do a thing about it. It's over. It's over. What am I gaining by pining over the love of my life that is gone, who never loved me back, and blah, 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 blah. I will tell you, the reason you're pining over that lost love is because you don't love yourself. And you don't know who you are in Jesus Christ. You don't know who God is. You don't have a relationship with God. This is why you're pining over that lost love. Okay? So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't change the past. I could change how I think about the past. I could change how I let the past affect me in the present. And I can stop worrying about the future. It hasn't happened yet. And understand, that these demons, they're playing a huge part in what you're experiencing. They're playing a huge part. I cannot tell you, this was the missing piece of the puzzle for me. And this is why the Holy Spirit led me back to the Bible. And there are absolutely no more questions for me. No more questions. So, and what I used to say when I was explaining this was the third aspect of what creates a memory. I would say it was these entities and spirits that are in the form. But actually, these entities and spirits are the ones creating the memories from the past and the worry about the future. They're the ones doing this. So anything that has to do with the psychological mind, you have to understand that it's these demons that are working us. Their only job here is to torment us. This is why the psychological mind is not who we are. There's nothing good about it. We're all trying to run away from it because it does nothing but hurt us and torment us. It's not of God. This is what you have to understand. It is not of God. So, when we leave this form, when our time is up and we're leaving this form, our spirit goes back to God. Okay? Now, if you understand that we have never been this psychological mind, we have never been these emotions, we have never been this form, this whole part of us is non-existent. It's non-existent. Who we are is truly spirit. And I keep getting the picture of Bob Larson with the Bible going, by the sword of the Spirit, I separate spirit and soul. Okay? And that is exactly the truth. The demons have taken over, and that's their playground, is the soul. We are the spirit. So the spirit, when we leave the form, the spirit goes back to the Father. I'll just say God. The spirit goes back to God, okay? Every memory Now, what did I just tell you was a memory? Well, number one, it's all created by these demons because it's all in the psychological mind. It's all in the psychological. It's all created by these demons. But they're a part of the false self that we believe we are. Because we are spirit. We're not this form. We're not this person. Okay? So, when we leave this form, every memory that has occurred during this life will be wiped away. It will no longer exist in anywhere in the universe. It will be gone. Whatever demons are still in this form at the time that we leave the body will also leave this form, and they will go off looking for another form. Okay? So, when you understand this, that the psychological mind is absolutely not who we are. We are actually born with a divine mind. With a mind that is pure. It's not been tainted. It's pure. It's a divine mind. It is only when these demons started jumping in and we realized that we were separate from God that the psychological mind was born at the same time. This is all run by Satan. The mind, the emotions, and the form. And this, if you think about this very carefully, you will understand that all of our problems stem from the psychological mind, stem from our emotions, whether we're having rage, we're having sadness, depression, and also all of the desires, every single desire that we have, it comes from either the mind or the body. And these are all the things that we have to break in order to fully wake up. Do you understand? We're pulling away from Satan. We're getting out of here. And we're going back to our true self, which is the spiritual self. And the more you think about this and internalize this, the more you will understand what I'm saying. That you are not the psychological mind, you are not the emotions, and you are not this form. So now if we understand that every single memory that we have has come from the psychological mind. Because what did I tell you the bird on the third branch does, who is our spirit self? The bird on the third branch just witnesses what's going on, and it has no interest in the outcome because it knows that this person that we think we are, we're going to make our mistakes. We're going to have our experiences in life. And this is what I was saying yesterday about the people in New Age, that they're finding their way in the darkness. They're feeling their way around in the darkness. And when they fall and they get hurt, there will be pain there. They will get up and they will continue looking for God. They will continue looking for the light. This is exactly what happens. So the bird on the third branch is totally impersonal, and impersonal meaning that it doesn't take personally or has no personal interest in what's happening with us as we're going like this looking for our way to find God, because it knows every experience we have brings us one step closer to finding God. So it is observing impersonally. No desire one way or the other for what's going to happen, because our true spirit knows that we must do this in order to wake up. We must go through all of these experiences in order to wake up. So the memories that we carry are purely from the personhood, which is the false self that we believe we are. Psychological mind, emotions, and body. So now, when we leave this form, we go back up with God. We go back with God. Here's the theory of reincarnation, and here's where people are getting tripped up. People who believe in reincarnation, and the theory is that people will reincarnate into a new body and pick up where they left off on their spiritual path to know God. So if when I left the form in this life, if I was still trying to break through the concepts, then when I reincarnated into my new form in my new life, I would pick up right where I left off, and I would be a more advanced spiritual person, and I would pick up where I left off, and I would start from breaking through concepts. And the only goal, even in reincarnation theory, the only goal is to wake up and know God. But here's the fallacy. If you believe in reincarnation, then it means that you're seeing yourself as this person, as this personal person, and that this life that you have here, with all of your belongings and all of your family, that this is real. This is who you are. This is who you believe you are. You have no clue about your spiritual self. And I don't mean spiritual as in religious aspect. I mean a true spirit that you are. You are created in the image of God. You are a true spirit. The same way that these demons are jumping into this form because they don't have a form. So they're jumping into our forms because they need a form to experience this life. They experience this life through us because we have a form. Okay? The same exact thing is happening. We are spirit, and this is the form that we're living in while we're experiencing everything in this life so that we can wake up. Okay? So it's the same thing happening here. So it's people who, through their religion, and remember I said religion is in Maya. Where is Maya? Maya is of the world. It is Satan's playground. It is the sleep. So it's through religion that people are taught that they will be reincarnated because they're not being told that they're the spirit. They're not this body. They're not this personal being that they think they are. So people don't wake up. And this is why I say religion's only goal here is to keep us asleep, to keep us believing that we are the psychological mind, the body, and the emotions. It's all in Maya. And it's in Satan's realm. This is the game. This is the game. Okay? So it's the people who believe that they are this form, who believe that they're going to pick up where they left off in the next life. And they somehow in their mind believe that this person that they see right now, who they are, is going to just go and be born again in another body. And I don't really understand how they think that's going to happen when they don't understand that they're not this form. I don't truly understand the concept of reincarnation. Maybe I did at one point and I don't anymore. I don't know. So here's the reincarnation. It's people who believe that they are this form, and that they are this psychological mind, and that they are these memories, that they think that they will somehow pick up where they left off in the next life to continue the journey to wake up to know God. Okay? Now, if you believe in reincarnation, then that means you have to believe that you had a past life. And these people who believe in reincarnation do believe they had a past life. And here's the thing. This is the teaching by Nisargadatta. If you have had a past life, then you should, and you can remember your past life, then you should be able to recall the name of your parents, where you live, what your house looked like, what school you went to, what was the name of your first boyfriend, were you married, did you have children? People who claim that they've had past lives don't remember any of these things. They remember a little snippet of something that makes them believe they had a past life. Like that tarot demon. All she saw was that she was standing doing some kind of ritual, and she went crazy. She said demons started eating her flesh. It shows you where she's at. She is totally possessed by demons. But this is all she could remember. That there was no past life. This was a hallucination of the mind. And this happens very frequently with long times of meditation, going into samadhi. These demons will jump in and hallucinations will happen. And you will believe that these things are true. It's not. Anything that you see with the mind, understand it's the psychological mind. And now you understand who is controlling the psychological mind. Okay? It's all a hallucination. So if you don't, just like you're living in this life right now, and you know everything about yourself, your birthday, what you look like, what your eye color was, how tall are you, were you married, what was the name of your first boyfriend, what school did you go to, what religion are you, what was the name of the church you went to, you know all of these things. What was your favorite color, what was your favorite food, you know all. Did you have a dog, did you have a cat, where did you live, what did your house look like. All of these questions should be able to be answered if you can say that you remember having a past life. And the fallacy of all of this is that we are not the psychological mind. And when we leave this form, nothing from this psychological mind remains. Nothing from this psychological mind remains. It goes back to the earth. These demons leave this form and they go look for another form. But our spirit selves returns to God. And the psychological mind, the emotions, and this form do not. The form goes back to the earth, the breath merges back with the air, and the spirit merges back with the Father. That's what happens. So now if we don't have any memories left after we leave this form, it is impossible to ever say that even in a trance, even under hypnosis, that we could ever remember a past life. Because everything from this life is done and over once we leave this form. Because of the fact that we are not this form. We are not this psychological mind. And this is the key to understanding all of this. This is the key. Understand where memories come from. And all of it has to do with these demons that have invaded our form. From when we were a small child, from generational curses. Okay? It starts way back then. Connect this always to the story of Adam and Eve. That it was after Satan tempted them that they understood that they were separate from God. Because before that, they didn't... the story is that they didn't know their nakedness. They didn't see their nakedness. Why? Because they were in oneness with God. They were in oneness with God. Then Satan comes along and tempts them, and they fall for it. Why? Because the flesh is weak. They fall for it, and once they knew, and they felt that shame. That's when the story is that they went to cover themselves. That was when they knew that they were separate from God, and this was all Satan's doing. So, as I told you, as I explained to you, if you look at a baby, look at that baby looking around, their third eye is wide open. They don't even know that they have a body. They are pure consciousness. They are pure spirit. They are, in fact, God in form. They are pure. The mind that they have is a divine mind. It is pure. And then what happens? Satan, the demons, start jumping in the form. Whether it's beginning from generational curses. I truly believe it depends on the level of abuse that a person receives. The level of dysfunction that each family has. There is not a healthy family on this planet because everyone is in the sleep. There's not a healthy family on this planet, but there are some that are healthier than others. Okay? So depending on where you fall on the spectrum of dysfunction, these demons may start jumping in sooner. As I told you, my first memory was at 2 years old, which meant I understood that I was separate from everything at 2 years old. These demons were already in me at 2 years old. That's what that means. Nisargadatta says generally our first memory is around the age of 4 years old. Well, that is the age that we understand that we're separate from everyone. And you can understand that the age of your first memory is the age where these demons have already started jumping in you. And that is why you knew you were separate from everything. Because before that, you didn't. So the whole process of waking up is to unlearn everything that we have learned through the concepts, through the personhood, getting rid of these demons. And I will tell you from my own experience here that when these demons leave, so do all of these horrible emotions, the fear, the anxiety, it just goes. And you start to understand truly what the oneness is. And I'll tell you, it's not what these fake gurus out here talk about as bliss, as an emotion, because where is emotion found? It's found in the personhood. That's part of the demons. What the demons play with is emotion. That's not it. When you are in the oneness space with God, truly in the oneness space with God, you're in a neutral state. You're in a neutral state. And what happens? When we're in the personhood and we think we are this form in psychological mind and emotion, we're chasing a pain-pleasure cycle. We're chasing pleasure to get away from the pain. And what actually happens? When we finally get into the oneness space, there is no more pain, and we are in absolute peace. I will say bliss, but it's not an emotional bliss. It is a beautiful love, peace, oneness with God, and it is a neutral state. You're not high like you're bipolar. It's not that at all. It is a neutral state where it is the absence of pain that brings us to our natural state in the oneness space with God. That's what I want to say about this. So, to recap, reincarnation is a concept that is taught through religion. To understand that religion is in Maya. Maya means to sleep. It is when the veil is over our eyes, we're in the sleep, and that is Satan's playground. That is what is of the world. Religion is of the world. And it is no surprise to me that Jezebel is all over the church. No surprise to me whatsoever. And it shouldn't be to any of you out there. This is why we must all transcend religion. Okay? So, when we believe that we are this body and this person and these emotions and this psychological mind, we have these memories here. We now understand that these demons are playing havoc with the psychological mind. Their only job here is to torment us and to keep us away from God. So this is what we're doing. We're either living in the past or we're living in the future. And we're missing what's the truth is right now. And once these demons are cast out of you, all of that disappears. It is the love of God. That's all I can say. You will experience it immediately once these demons are cast out of you. It's I don't have words for it. It is a miracle. It's nothing short of a miracle. And I would have missed this. I would have missed this last part if the Holy Spirit didn't lead me back to the Bible. This was the last part that I needed. So, we're not this psychological mind. We're not these thoughts. And this is why I keep telling you, we're not our diagnosis. These people in the mental health industry understand they're all asleep. They believe they are the psychological mind. They have no clue about these demons. They believe they are the psychological mind. They believe they are truly helping us. But in fact, no, they're feeding us into the demons even more by filling us full of these poisonous medications. Okay? You've got to understand the full picture here. You really have to understand the full picture. We were born with a divine mind that was pure. That was pure. And let me tell you something. My mind, I have no thoughts going through my mind at all anymore. My mind is totally still. And you see, you'll see me on some of these videos. I have to think for words because the divine mind, it doesn't hold on to the junk of what the psychological mind holds on to, because it is not important. This is all sleep stuff. It is not important. The divine mind will not hold on to it. Now, a lot of times now I have to write things down because I won't remember it, because it is not important to the spirit. It's only important to the world, and spirit doesn't care about that. These are the changes that are made. And when you wake up, this is why I'm saying transcending religion doesn't mean you have to leave your favorite church, but you will not be able to not see the sleep in people. It is blaring at you. Okay? So many things happen, many changes happen, but it's all for the glory of God. It is all for the glory of God, because this being that we think is this personal self here, the individual identity. When you say I am an individual and you identify as a man or a woman or a Christian or a Hindu, you are in that personal individual self, which means you are feeling and understanding that you are separate from God, which means as of that point, Satan is still winning this game. The only goal is that you get in oneness with God, no more with Satan. And the oneness with God does not mean that you are God. You understand that. Does not mean that you are God. So let's get that little bit of misinformation out of here. Okay? Remember, it is only Satan that has been out here trying to be God. So anybody out here, and the former gurus I used to follow, they're all saying they're God. They're all saying they're God. No, we are the seed of God. We are the seed of God. This is why we still pray to God. Okay? We are the seed of God. We are the children of God. We are not God. So there's a lot of information in here. Listen to it over and over again. The biggest thing to understand is you've got to understand who is controlling the psychological mind. And that is Satan. That is these demons. You are not this psychological mind. You have naturally a divine mind. Anything that is bringing you torment, stress, anxiety, depression is not of God. It is not of God. And we all have to understand this. Okay? I hope that helps you guys. Have a blessed day.